Other news as well in the paper today, of course, is that King Charles has made his first public visit in 3 months as he continues treatment for cancer. He went to a cancer treatment centre where he held hands with patients and spoke of his shock at his own diagnosis. Very empathetic king, I think, yesterday, Brenda. Do you think we're seeing a different version of him since his diagnosis?
I think anybody who's had a cancer diagnosis, you see a different attitude in that person in general. You know, we still have to remember the king is still just he's a person just like everybody else. And when the first thing when I was diagnosed with my breast cancer, the first thing you're thinking about is, am I going to live or am I not going to be here? And then it's about, right, what can I do to try and, you know, for me it was what can I do to try and raise a platform and raise awareness for this. So I think it's a good thing that he's out there doing that. He's a patron of Macmillan Cancer, and I think the people that he was visiting would appreciate that also. If we remember Princess Diana, she was so good at you know, showing empathy to people, even in the height of, you know, HIV, when that was out, she was out meeting everybody and not scared to touch people, which was, you know, which a lot of people found were very uncomfortable, and that it made the headlines because she had done that. But I think it's a good thing for, you know, just the everyday person that's also suffering and being diagnosed with this to feel that they've got some strength from the king. He can share his stories, you know, with them and give people hope.
Which is what he was doing, Janet, yesterday, and being tactile, like you say, Brandy.
Well, it's extraordinary. If you had said to me 5 years ago that Charles would behave like this, I just would not have believed you, because Prince Charles, when he was King Charles, when he was Prince Charles, was known for his obsession with the environment, eating and growing vegetables and sustainable living. He was, you know, a passionate advocate of that. He was also passionate about traditional architecture and, you know, and was well known for interfering in planning decisions and buildings that he didn't like. You know, when describing the National Portrait, the National Gallery as a carbuncle. So that was his image. And then during the coronation, we saw tetchy Charles, and we've seen him throwing down the pen and getting quite petulant. But there's no doubt that the cancer diagnosis has completely changed not only his view of the world, but how we see him. And so, you know, I think how will history judge Charles is a really interesting thing, because there's no doubt, as Brenda said, his life has been transformed overnight, and the way that he communicates to his subjects has completely changed overnight. So it's interesting.
Do you think people have fallen in love with him a little bit more, Colleen, because of it? And he feels he's much more one of us now, isn't it? We all know that
it's shown his vulnerability and the fact that any disease, or especially cancer, well, any disease doesn't care whether you're the King of England or, you know, you live in the north of England, it doesn't care. And I think that's made him more human to all of us. And I think what Brenda said is right, because having cancer in our family, it does make you... It makes you really appreciate the day-to-day things and stop worrying about the future. And also, it does soften you because, you know, it makes you face your own mortality, and it's probably the first time you've really thought about that. And he's probably just so grateful that he's back out meeting the public. And, you know, that's going to soften anybody up. So, you know, if you can take any kind of positive from that diagnosis or from cancer or any other disease, that's the positive side of it, is that he's now gone, I'm so just grateful to be here. And we're grateful he's here as well. So.
Of course. And even just the conversation, I mean, he did say yesterday that I've got to have my treatment this afternoon as well.
Yeah.
You know, those little bits of information that you would never
very
have
inclusive.
known.
He would never have spoken like that in the past.
Absolutely not.
Never revealed that much about himself. So it's a complete transformation.
Yeah, and just a very, very deeply personal kind of... And that tactile nature, like you say, Brenda, I think it does. It just puts...
It's a good way to share. When you share with other people, you take away the darkness that can cloud your mind over a lot. So, you know, whatever way you can get through it, get through it.
You get through it, absolutely.